I set up and run a children's charity that provides specialist play therapy services to kids who've experienced trauma in primary schools in the UK. I wasn't sure what to expect when I first spoke with Lisa, but I found that I was able to share a lot of stuff that I was feeling that actually were sort of pains that I was having within my business, and I was really surprised that Lisa really understood where I was coming from and was able to give me some really good and clear advice. And we had a conversation just about where I was at the moment with the business, and she helped me to see things in a really different way, so I was able to find a way forward. And it wasn't something that I was expecting, but I was really happy that she was able to do that for me. So when I first spoke with Lisa, I was struggling with my business. I set up the charity 8 years ago when I was 23, and I was just out of university. I'm a play therapist by training, so my work is with kids. That's what I've always loved doing. And I found that running the business initially was really exciting and really fun. And as it grew, I got further and further away from the work with the kids. And I found myself in a really operational role where I was just running the day-to-day business. And I knew that I needed to be more effective in my work and bringing in the vital life source of the charity. But I just wasn't able to do it because I was so bogged down in the doing. So when I spoke with Lisa, she helped to point out to me that although I was struggling in the operational role, the reason wasn't because I was no good at the job, it was just that I wasn't in my flow. And this really resonated with me because I remembered the time when I really felt in flow, which was in the startup phase of the charity. And so she helped me to see how things could be different. And she identified that actually there are people out there that are really good implementers, and she proved that because she is one herself. And that actually it's okay for me just to be a creative person. And so she gave me some advice to really scope out what sort of person I needed to run the business that would allow me the time and space to do what I do best. Since then, I scoped out a new role within the charity of a charity director, somebody who would come in and focus on the business performance, and that would allow me the time and space to carve out a role for myself that is creative and doing the work that I love to do. And we're in the final stages of recruiting for that person, and I've had lots of high-level candidates applying for that job. So I'm really excited about what the next phase will bring. And this is all just from 1 hour conversation with Lisa. So I was finding in my business that I kept coming up against the same feeling, which was that I wasn't enjoying it. And then things would get better a bit, and then the same thing would present itself to me, that I felt a bit stuck. And my instinct is to run away from that feeling. And I talked about this with Lisa, and I was saying that I just love the startup phase, and maybe I need to go and do a new startup. And she helped me to see that actually what happened was I hadn't fallen out of love with my business, but I'd just fallen out of love with the role that I was doing. But she also told me that there was a lesson that I needed to learn here, and that situation was going to keep presenting itself to me until I learned it. And so in that moment I decided I would learn the lesson, and things have moved forward massively for me since then. I would say that having the conversation with Lisa really helped me to see things clearly at a point where I felt really stuck and where I wasn't seeing anything clearly. So it gave me clarity and focus on what I needed to do next, the immediate next steps, so that I could then start to see a bit further into the future, because as it was, I was just seeing day to day. So I'd really recommend anybody that's feeling stuck to have a conversation with Lisa, because as I didn't know, you also don't know where it's going to lead and actually what you could get just from that short conversation or from a longer program of coaching. So if you're thinking about working with Lisa, I'd suggest that you get in touch and have a chat with her, because I found that I didn't know what to expect, but she was so personable and so kind and so friendly. She really saw through the fears that I had and the upset at the time, and she was able to hold that, and it didn't faze her at all. And even though I felt a little bit unsure because this is a new person that I was speaking to for the first time, I knew then that I needed to have follow-up conversations with Lisa. So I'd say just reach out, have a chat with her, and see what benefit you can get. Even from a short conversation, you will get something out of it.